When the doctor said 3 months, maybe less, my world collapsed. I looked down at Max, my golden retriever, gray around the muzzle now, his eyes still bright despite his 15 years. He looked back at me with that same unwavering loyalty he'd shown since the day Sarah brought him home as a puppy. Sarah, gone 5 years now, and soon I thought I would follow. But not yet, not while Max still needed me. If this is my final chapter, I told Max that night, his head heavy on my lap, then let's make it an adventure worth remembering. I sold the house, our home of 40 years, liquidated my savings, bought an old camper van. The neighbors thought I'd lost my mind, perhaps I had. But when you're racing against time, sanity seems like a luxury you can't afford. Our first stop was the Grand Canyon. Sarah and I had always planned to go. As I stood at the edge of that magnificent abyss, Max by my side, I felt something I hadn't expected. Peace. The vastness made my problems seem small, my remaining time suddenly precious rather than scarce. We drove along the California coast, where Max, despite his arthritis, chased seagulls across the sand. We slept under the stars in New Mexico, hiked through Colorado forests as far as my weakening lungs would allow. Each night I'd document our journey in a journal I planned to leave behind, evidence that even at the end, life could be beautiful. But 3 months passed, and something strange happened. I didn't die. Instead, each morning with the sunrise and fresh air, I felt stronger. The doctors were baffled. Spontaneous regression, they called it. Not a cure, but a reprieve. Max, however, began to slow down. His morning stretches took longer, his eyes clouded, his once golden coat dulled. One evening in Yellowstone, as we watched the sunset together, he couldn't stand up when it was time to leave. That night, as he lay breathing heavily in our camper, I held him close. "It's okay, old friend," I whispered. "You can rest now. I'll be okay." And somehow, I knew I would be. Max had stayed long enough to see me find my way back to life. The next morning, he was gone, peaceful in his sleep. I buried him beneath an old oak tree overlooking a valley, the kind of view he always seemed to appreciate on our journey. 3 years have passed since that day. My cancer remains in remission, a medical mystery. I never sold the camper. Instead, I founded Max's Final Journey, a nonprofit that helps terminal patients spend quality time with their beloved pets, creating memories that outlast goodbyes. Sometimes I visit Max's tree. I tell him about the lives we've touched, the people and pets who found healing in their final journeys together. And I swear, in the rustling leaves, I can hear his tail thumping against the ground. What I learned from Max is that sometimes, when we think we're taking care of others in their final days, they're actually guiding us back to life. That love doesn't follow our timelines or medical prognoses, and that the greatest gift we can give each other, human or animal, is dignified companionship until the very end. So if you're facing your own darkness, remember, the journey may not end as you expect, and the one you think you're saving might just be saving you.